Hi everyone, we're back. I'm Jackie and you know Jason. And so we're going to have another round of 5 questions.
The playoff run continues and so does 5 questions with Intern Jacki. We're in the concourse. Are you cold?
Not yet.
Put your hood up.
No, it's really long and prominent.
Okay. That'd be a good look for you.
No, it's not. Okay, let's begin. Now don't laugh at me if I mess this name up, okay? I practiced it.
Okay.
Nnamdi Asomugha.
Nnamdi Asomugha. Close. Better than I expected.
I was YouTubing it over and over and over.
What about him?
Okay, so supposedly he would like to be a Packer. However, we all know Ted Thompson likes the draft and develop mentality, and then we have guys like Woodson, Williams, and Shields progressing. Does he stand a chance at becoming a Packer?
So the Packers are playing in the NFC divisional playoff round. Huge game in Atlanta, and your opener is about the offseason?
I'm working my way up to the big questions.
Oh, okay. You know, I think it's intriguing. I actually talked to Aaron Rodgers about Asomugha today. They both are Cal guys. And I think he was a little bit surprised when I told him that there were some reports out there that Asomugha was interested in the Packers. He and Charles Woodson did play together in Oakland. They're pretty good friends, so all those things kind of factor in. But as you pointed out so brilliantly, the fact that they have 3 good corners, even though you say you can never have too many good corners, I would be surprised, A, if they spent the money on him, and B, they really do feel good about Sam Shields and the development he's made. But it's a really interesting thing for us to talk about in the offseason, and since there's no 5 questions with Intern Jacki in the offseason, I'm glad you brought it up now.
That's why I'm doing some of these general questions, you know, just in case.
So if people are watching on YouTube months from now, there's still something
news
you can use, if you will.
Exactly. I'm ahead of my time. Okay, anyway. Another general question is, a lot of things have happened to the Packers that they may not have liked happening to them and could have taken their season on a downward spiral. The injuries, the offense not being as consistent, the run game. What has kept them from, you know, kind of going in the sinker? Is it the confidence, the talent?
In the sinker?
I don't know.
As opposed to in the toilet or something?
In the toilet.
Spiraling?
Sinker.
You know, I think there's a couple things. One, I think this is a very deep team. You talked about the approach that Ted Thompson takes of draft and development. By doing that, he has the depth to have overcome some of these injuries. The fact that Tom Crabtree is able to be productive, Eric Walden, you know, those are guys that you don't expect the productivity that you've gotten out of them. I think the other thing is this coaching staff does a great job of coaching guys up and having them ready every week, even if they're not household names to you and I. And finally, I think they do have some talent on this team, that they've been able to overcome injuries because their really good players have still risen to the challenge. Aaron Rodgers, while the offense has been inconsistent, he's still an elite quarterback. While Clay Matthews hasn't been as productive as he was early in the season, he's still a productive player. Charles Woodson may have lost a step in coverage, but he's still very hard to account for an offense. So you put all that together, and that explains why they're still in the thick of this and why a lot of people like their chances this weekend.
Last time the Packers played the Falcons, a few people said there were some plays that kind of cost them the game. Rodgers' fumble, the Tony Gonzalez 4th and 3 catch, the face mask penalty, and the kick return. Without those things, do the Packers still have a good chance of winning?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons why when they left the Georgia Dome on November 28th, the feeling was not this, oh, what a huge opportunity we missed. Oh, we really blew it. I didn't get that sense from those guys, and I think that's because they felt like they could come back there in the playoffs if they had to and win. And don't lose sight of the fact, too, that their quarterback really likes playing indoors. I mean, he probably wouldn't like doing Jacki's 5 questions here outside like we are, because he loves the conditions and he's been incredibly productive indoors. So while they're able to handle crowd noise inside, if they're able to do that, they feel like they're almost better off playing indoors because of the way their passing offense runs.
Great. And then how do you stop guys like Michael Turner, Tony Gonzalez, and Roddy White? You're getting cold.
I am getting cold. I shouldn't have worn shorts today. I would have thought ahead.
It's Wisconsin. Come on.
It is. You know, I think when you look at their offense, it all starts with Michael Turner. And talking with Cullen Jenkins this week, one of the things I wrote about was if you can force him to have short gains on the first 2 plays, then it puts them in a greater challenging spot on third down. If Michael Turner gets 4 yards and 4 yards and they're facing 3rd and 2, they have all their playbook to work with. If he gets 1 yard and no yards and they're facing 3rd and 9, then Matt Ryan has to drop back farther. He has to let passes develop, or pass patterns develop for longer, which means that there's a better opportunity for sacking him. They only had 2 sacks against him the first time they met. So when you put the list of guys that they have to stop, and Tony Gonzalez they have to stop, and Roddy White they have to stop, but I think stopping Michael Turner, who has not been as productive in the last several weeks as he was early in the season, I think that's the most important one they have to do.
Then for the off-season question.
This could be your last 5 questions with Intern Jacki question.
That's why it's going.
If they lose, that's it. So I hope you really come up with a good one.
Well, it's really good.
We'll see. All right.
Okay, because they've had all the success this year with their backups, who or what types of players do they look for in the offseason drafting or obtaining?
In free agency, and I think that's hard to project only because we don't know what the offseason is going to look like. Don't lose sight of the fact that we know there's going to be a draft, but we don't know what free agency is going to look like or when it's going to be. We don't know how long the lockout or the negotiations for a CBA will last. I still think we're going to be into August and we're still not going to know what's going to happen. Maybe for NFL fans' sake, I hope I'm wrong about that, but I don't think I am. I don't know how they're going to take the approach. I think they need to figure out what they're going to do at outside linebacker opposite Clay Matthews. Is Frank Zombo or Eric Walden, are they the real deal, or can you find an upgrade there? Certainly they're going to have a lot of decisions to make with their own free agents. Guys like James Jones, do you want to pay him and make him the kind of the heir apparent to Donald Driver opposite Greg Jennings, because Donald Driver's not getting any younger, when he's as inconsistent as he can be. He can be spectacular, and then he can drop balls. So guys like Darren College, who's been a starter here for 5 years, is he a guy that you want back? And at what price? To me, their greater issue, because of that draft and develop mentality that you talked about earlier, is figuring out which guys are worth keeping. Jason Spitz, for example, I don't think he's going to be back. He didn't have a role this year. He's going to be a free agent. Atari Bigby, what's his future hold? So I think their greater decisions first are figuring out what of their guys they're going to keep, and then they can start figuring out if the Nnamdi Asamoahs of the league can join their squad.
Okay, great. Thanks. And those were another round of 5 questions that were top-notch.
You think we're going to be back next week? I think that's the question, Jacki. Do you think we'll be back next week for 5 more questions with Intern Jacki?
I think so. I think there's a good chance of it. I really do.
I picked them to win. If they're not here, it's been a great season with you.